Hello violinists, welcome to the Pro Strings Violin School. My name is Henriette and this video is lesson 34 in the Crickboom Violin class for beginners. So welcome to this lesson today. We are learning exercise 55 in the red book, which is 78 if you have an older version of this book. Let me play it for you first. Now, if you haven't already covered lesson 33, I would suggest you learn that lesson first before you go on to this lesson, because what we've learned in lesson 33, you have to apply again in lesson 34. And as you may have noticed, we're also in this lesson playing our second finger close to the first finger. And that means that between fingers 1 and 2, you have no space, and between fingers 2 and 3, you have a nice gap, and you will also have a gap between fingers 3 and 4. So that is our finger pattern that we're using today. But today I want to go into these notes a little bit more deeply compared with the previous lesson, and we're also going to add a new bowing to it. So you may already have spotted that I'm playing alternately a long bow and then 2 times the half bow, and those half bows either come at the upper half of the bow or at the lower half, and I'll show you once again. So I'm just playing the beginning of this piece and I'm starting on a long bow. Now I'm playing the upper half to the middle and back, the whole bow, and these next 2 notes come at the lower half of the bow. Long, upper half, long, up, lower half, long, upper half, long, lower half. And so we keep on going. So long, short, short, long, short, short. So all the minims, which are called half notes in America, they still get the whole bow. The crotchets or the quarter notes alternately fall at the upper half of the bow or the lower half of the bow. So it's very useful if you still have got your marker in the middle of the bow, so that you know how far those half bows should go, either from this end to your sticker or from the other end to your sticker. Shall we just play that again? Will you join me this time? Here we go. After 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. for a moment what our notes are called. When we play on the D string and we play the first finger, it is called E. After D comes an E in the alphabet. The second finger is now called F because we're playing the second finger close to the first finger. So it's D, E, F. This second finger used to be an F sharp. We used to call it F sharp when we had a gap between fingers 1 and 2. Now that we haven't got that gap and our second finger is there, it's called F. The third finger has not changed its name at all because that's still in the same place. It's called G. And the fourth finger is an A. And we know that we can check this fourth finger with the A string, so that is an A. So open string is D. First finger is E. F, second finger. G, third finger. A, fourth finger. Now let's have a look at the third bar of your piece. And the third bar finishes on a fourth finger. Of course that note is called A, which we've just discovered. And we play this A either with the fourth finger or with the open A string. You can do both, but because of the next note, which is the first note in the fourth bar, is on the D string, we opt for the fourth finger as it's printed in your music. So the last note of bar 3 is the fourth finger because the first note in bar 4 is still on the D string. Now if you look at the continuation of bar 4, we're going to go up on the A string, so that is okay to play an open A right there. Let's just practice that, shall we? And let's play the first 4 bars. 3, 4. Here. Now for these last 2 notes we have gone onto the A string, and we've said when we play on the A string our elbow level, the level of your right elbow, is slightly different compared with when you play on the D string. So just here in the middle of bar 4 we need to adjust your elbow. If we do that right in the middle of bar 4, we're going to add up with an accent on the open A string. We don't want that. So what I'm going to suggest you try and do is play the first note in bar 4 and start to adjust your elbow while you play that note. Now this first note in bar 4 is going to be an up bow, so I'll show you what happens. So this note is on the D string, so my elbow level is slightly higher. Can you see my elbow come down? And then I'm playing A. So then I've adjusted my elbow level so that I can carry on the A string. Let's practice it again, shall we? So we have the third finger and we're going to play up bow. Now my elbow is a little bit higher here because I'm playing on the D string. Now drop your elbow slowly, so that it is in its A string level when you hit the heel of the bow. Now that is a bit more challenging, I think. Let's practice it one more time. So the third finger, which is the first note in bar 4, is an up bow, is on the D string, so my elbow, right elbow, is a little bit higher. Here we go. Now as you play this bow stroke, drop that elbow slightly. We're not talking big changes here, just slightly. Look, can you see the difference? Okay, we're starting in the higher position, and as you go, gently drop your elbow. And you can perhaps see when you pause here for a second how close you are to the A string. There we go. Very good. So that is something else to start to think about. When I'm playing on the D string, my elbow is a little bit higher. When I'm on the A string, my elbow is a little bit lower. You know that in principle, but it's a bit different applying that to a new piece, isn't it? Now, the same thing happens when we go from the A string back onto the D string. So let's find the second line now. And the third bar is in my book where we cross back from the A string to the D string. And again, we're starting this B on an up bow. And now we're wanting to slowly lift that elbow up so that I can prepare myself for going back to the D string. Let's try that, shall we? And now it's 4 on the D string. And then we're on the D string with our elbow levels as well. So we're starting it a little bit lower, and then as we go back to the D string, my elbow level comes up slightly. Shall we practice that again? Starting at the point of the bow on the B, third bar of the second line, and this is the 10th bar of the whole piece. We're starting it at the point of your bow, in the lower position with your elbow, and as you progress through this first long bow, try to lift up your elbow gently. And now you'll find yourself almost ready to tilt across to the D string here. Can you see that? Let's practice this one more time, shall we? So drop your elbow because we're back on the A string. Here we go. And awesome. If you find this a little bit too complicated, please don't despair. As with everything, the more you practice it, the better you get. And you might start by looking very much at the contact point here, and what I want you to find out is how you can see that bow tilt between the two strings. You see? So I'm using my elbow to guide the bow to the correct string level, as you see, and that is really what we're doing. Let's practice this one more time, starting on that B, the 10th bar, or the third bar of the second line, and we're going to go right through to the end. This bar starts up bow, and awesome, very well done. Now in this lesson I want to focus on something else as well, and that is our straight bowing. We've seen many times in the past that in order to bow the bow straight along the bridge, your bow arm needs to stretch forward, and that is to avoid this sort of thing. Look, if my arm goes sideways, my bow slips across the fingerboard. That happens with quite a few people, so see if that's you, if you can stretch that bow arm a little bit further forward so you get the angle of the bow on the string in the correct way. And I can perhaps show it to you a bit more clearly this way. If my elbow goes sideways to my side, that is the angle, and you can clearly see that's not quite parallel to the bridge where we need to be. If, however, I'm stretching my arm forward a little bit more, this way, then my bow gets a little bit straighter, you see. Now, you can overshoot it, and that way it's not quite right either. So see if you can get parallel to the bridge. That's not easy to judge for yourself, so you might ask another person or watch yourself play in front of a mirror so that you can see it and you learn to feel gradually where the straight bowings are. Now here, this is an ideal exercise to practice a straight bowing because we're playing our long bows alternately as a down bow and an up bow. So we're having those straight bows come back all the time, don't we, in this piece. So let's play it again from the beginning. Try not to worry too much about your elbow levels this time because we're going to focus on straight bowing. 1, 2, 3, 4. practice. Really, really good. Next, we're going to be thinking and practicing how to leave our fingers of our left hand down on the string when we play a higher finger. And what I mean by that is when we play the beginning of this piece, like this. When I play the second finger, I make sure that the first finger is on the string rather than having it this way. We always add fingers to fingers that are already on the string, you remember, rather than replacing them. That's not a good technique, but adding them to the fingers and leaving all the fingers down on the string is a much better one. Here we've got to play the fourth finger quite a few times, so the challenge is now to leave all the fingers down when you play the fourth finger. So let's just play up to the middle of the fourth bar. That is up to that point where we go onto the A string, and we're interested in what's happening when we're playing on the D string still, you see. So I'll count us in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just hold it a moment. You should have 2 fingers on the string now, and these 2 fingers are hovering above. Now let's carry on and hold it here a moment. You should have 3 fingers on the string. Carry on. Hold it a moment. Should we just check that you've now got 4 fingers down on the string here? And one more note. Even when we play this third finger, you want to make sure that you're not playing like that, you see? Awesome. Let's play this one more time from the beginning, shall we? And this time we're going to carry on until the end of line 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Have you got 2 fingers on the string and 2 fingers hovering? So not there, but there. Carry on. Just hold it here for me so that you take some time to check whether all your fingers are now on the string. Okay, shall we carry on now? The second line starts on an up bow. So my bow is there. Be careful that when you're here, you push that bow straight. And let's hold it here for a moment. And now I want you to place all your fingers on the D string in their correct pattern. There we are. That's super good practice, really well done. It's quite normal when you practice a piece like that to take regular breaks and stop your playing so that you can prepare for something that's coming along, like placing all those fingers on the D string like we've just done. And that is going to improve your playing in the fastest way. Funnily enough, slow practice with frequent stops is progressing your playing more quickly than faster playing, because you just can't think of everything. Now, in the course of this lesson, we have thought about quite a few things already, isn't it? We started with our elbow levels, then we did some straight bowing, and now we're also working on leaving our fingers down. And for most people, and for me included, that is too much to think about at the same time. Eventually, all those 3 aspects will all integrate, but we're practicing them separately so that we can fully focus on one aspect of your playing. And I would suggest that you practice like that all the time, because it's just been proven that that is the fastest way forward. Now, shall we play that once more? We are going to take frequent stops to prepare for either a string crossing that comes up, or leaving your fingers down that comes up, or having straight bows as it comes up. So before we even start, let's think about playing that first D with a straight bow, shall we? I'll count us in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on a moment. Leave your fingers down as you play them. Hold on a moment, straight bow. Hold on a moment, drop your elbow. Hold on a moment, straight bow. Hold on a moment, leave your fingers down. Hold on a moment, straight bow on the next bow. Hold a moment. Now lift your elbow up a little bit in the course of this bow stroke. All fingers down. Straight bow here. Hold on a moment, a straight bow here. Wow, that was a lot of things to think about. Well done. If you've kept up with even half of it, that is really, really good progress already. So we noticed that when we play the violin, of course, there are many times when you just play and mess about a little bit and play for fun. But when we practice, we want to actually keep our brain with it all the time, so that you really use your time as efficiently as you can and make good progress there. So I am in awe of you for following this lesson and being patient enough with me to see this whole lesson through. So well done. I very much look forward to seeing you again in lesson 35, but for now, goodbye.